Mama, it's Katie. Welcome to this video where we're going to talk about week 5 postpartum, what Mama's going through emotionally, mentally, physically, as well as what is happening to baby and the developmental milestones and behaviors. So let's start with our little miracle babies. So 5 weeks old, what to expect around week 5. Your baby is still very much a newborn. They'll still be sleeping between 14 to 17 hours over a 24-hour period, so lots and lots and lots of sleep. And they'll be awake probably between 45 to 60 minutes, not longer. Maximum is 90 minutes, but always watch your baby for cues if they are yawning, if they're looking away, if they're suddenly low in energy or have glassy eyes. That means that they are tired and need to go down for yet another nap. So maximum is 90 hours. You can watch the clock, but more importantly, watch your baby for their cues. So what does the baby do in the wake windows and in the time that they're awake? They do feeding, obviously. So you'll be doing the feeding, they'll be doing the nursing. This can now start to get a little bit more efficient, and baby is getting more efficient at sucking and will be feeding faster. Cluster feeding is still absolutely normal, and this happens particularly around growth spurts, and there is another growth spurt around the 6th week. It can be a bit earlier, it can be a bit later for some babies. So in case your baby is extremely fussy in the evening and nothing really works, that means they might just want to continue feeding over and over and over again to stimulate your breasts to produce more milk so their heightened needs are met. Your baby will be catching eye contact, so this is super exciting. They might be able to focus on you and on your eyes for a little bit of time. They might be able to focus on high contrast images. So if you would be able to show them pictures and try to kind of go very gently and slowly from one side to the other and then up and down, and your baby might be able to track with their eyes and move their head and look after that image. So it can't be very colorful, it can't be pastel colored, it should be high contrast, simple images like of a dog, for example, with a ball, and that can be black and white, and this they should be able to focus on and track for a little bit. So that's super, super exciting. And one more comment about the eyes and the tracking and observing. The distance that they can see clearly is around 30 centimeters. So don't sit on the other side of the room and show them the image, but really sit close to them and show them within a 30 centimeter range. When it comes to the hearing, they'll be able, if they hear your voice, they might move their head towards where they hear your voice coming from. So that's something that they will start doing now as well, which is super nice and rewarding, because you know that they're listening at all times, and if it's quiet and suddenly you say something, they might be excited to hear your voice. And on the other hand, they will startle if there's something loud and sudden. For example, if you suddenly sneeze, they might startle. The babies will start gaining better and better head control, so they'll start strengthening their muscles and their necks. And to help them to do this, you should be doing tummy time in every wake window. So when they wake up after a nap, ideally you would feed them, you would change their diaper, maybe feed them again if they're still hungry, and then there's a little bit of time left to play and do something. So tummy time should be high on the agenda, just a few seconds or a minute or 2 minutes, just so the baby gets used to being on their tummy, to that sensation, as well as feeling the gravity push on their head, and they will then start trying to lift their head up, and that will strengthen their muscles of their necks and their backs. and their shoulders, and this is the first step towards the following milestones that will be coming in the future, to pushing themselves up and then crawling and sitting and so on and so on. So tummy time is super, super important. Their hands will be opening. If you have realized, before your baby would have had these little fists, and now they're slowly going to be relaxing and opening their palms. So this is a great sign that they will soon be able to start using their hands to hit something, or to eventually reach and grab something as well. And another super exciting thing that is happening is you might be rewarded with a little smile. So their first social interactions are coming, their first social smile, not this dreamy smile when they're sleeping, but this real intentional smile. When they see you and are fed and happy and content, they're looking at you, you might receive a nice little smile from them. So some babies start around week 5 to give these little rewarding smiles, but it can be as late as around the 8th week mark. So just look out, it's not going to be a massive smile, a huge one, but just little corners of their mouth will be going up, so it's super, super cute. And another thing that is super exciting that is happening in our baby's world is they'll start cooing, which is so adorable. So my little one is cooing now, and again, like the little smile and the little coos when he is happy is so nice and so rewarding, and it's the nicest and best thing a mama can get, a little present from their little one. So I hope you're also going to get some cute coos soon. They're usually just ooh, ooh, and ooh. So super, super cute. So what to do in week 5? Follow your baby's cues when it comes to hunger or tiredness. Very important, these two. And do not overstimulate them. They will be waking up more and more to the world around them. So you could think because they're waking up more, they're able to do more, or they're able to stay awake longer. That is not the case, because they're waking up more, they're realizing things around them, and that really can overstimulate them easily. So just watch your baby for their cues, and potentially if they were able to stay awake longer a week or 2 ago, that doesn't mean that they'll stay awake for the same amount of time now. So rule of thumb, 45 to 60 minutes, maximum 90 minutes, but watch your baby, that's the most important. So what is happening to us mamas? You are still healing, mama. You're still healing externally and internally, emotionally and physically. You have gone through a lot. A newborn has arrived in your arms. You're completely responsible for them. They entirely depend on you to feed them, to change them, to cuddle them, and all of this is super cute, but it is extremely difficult and it takes up all of your time. So just be kind to yourself and realize that you're doing such an incredible and amazing job. And if it wasn't for you, your baby would not be able to survive at all. And because you are doing what you are doing, then they are able to start on the path of thriving. So congratulations, mama. But yes, do still rest when you can. They say sleep when baby sleeps. So if your baby is taking a nap during the day, try to not do 10 million things around the household, but also try to listen to your body. And if it's telling you to rest, lay down, close your eyes, even if it's just for a few minutes. If you drift off, even better. That means you really, really need to rest up even more. When it comes to the uterus, it will have now gone back to its initial position, which is behind the pubic bone. It will have healed or nearly healed, so you might stop bleeding soon if you haven't already, or maybe you'll have just a little bit of discharge, which is brownish beige color. So that's great news. On the other hand, we have weak pelvic floors. So the pelvis is down here. If you've been following the Great Pregnancy Challenge throughout the pregnancy, hopefully you were doing your Kegels, and if you were, and exercising with me, then the pelvic floor will have been stronger going into birth, and it will be easier to start working on those muscles again in the postpartum phase. Nevertheless, they have been weakened by the whole pregnancy journey as well as childbirth. So you might feel unstable around the hip, lower back area, and you might be experiencing some leakage. If this is the case, and you are able physically to start doing Kegels again, and that is definitely recommended, as well as some other light exercises. And I have done a video of what exercises you could be doing in week 5, so follow that video. I will link it below so you can access it as well. There will be some breathing exercises as well as exercises focusing on the deep core, abdominal muscles and pelvic muscles. Around week 5, your stitches will have healed. So the stitches, if you had a C-section, that area should have healed now, and if you had a vaginal birth and tearing in your vagina, that should have also healed. So that is great news. Nevertheless, the area will still be tender because that skin was pulled to stitch it up. So if those wounds have healed, you will be able to start massaging them with maybe a specific special cream or a pure oil, like for example sunflower oil is very, very good. When it comes to feeding the babies, we're doing that a lot. We're doing it often, many times per day and night over 24 hours. That will be around 8 to 10 feeds, or 12 even. That is completely normal. Every time your baby is awake, you should offer them a meal, so to say. If you're breastfeeding them the breast. But that therefore takes a toll again on our body, and you might have sore nipples, and for that I highly recommend silverets. If you haven't got them, they work magic. They're absolutely fantastic, and they're little nipple shields they're made out of silver, and you can put them on your nipple and then put your bra on top, or put the breastfeeding pads. You might still be leaking a little bit, and that really, really helps in nipple recovery. Sleep deprivation is real. So now we are in the 5th week. That means you have already had 4 weeks of restless nights, broken nights, nights where your little one wants to be fed, held, bounced, cuddled, fed again. So this does take a toll, it does accumulate. So just again, be kind to yourself, rest when you can, take that extra nap during the day if you can, instead of having a coffee, because it is real. And then what can happen is you might start not being able to think clearly, you might be foggy slightly, more fatigued for sure, you might have emotional ups and downs. So this is all normal, but it's connected to the sleep deprivation. So if you're able to try to catch up on some sleep that you are missing during the night, then that would be the best thing to do. So around 5 weeks, some mamas start to feel like they're getting a routine, they start to feel more comfortable in their new role, but they might start also therefore putting more pressure on themselves when it comes to day-to-day activities. So in the first weeks you will have been hopefully resting a lot and taking care of yourself and laying down and having other people help. But because around week 5 you might start regaining some energy, your body will have healed a bit more, you might start feeling the urge to also chip in again around the house and do some cleaning and do some cooking. If you are able to get help from somebody to still continue doing that, please ask for help. Communication is key. If you need to put your baby down or give them to somebody for a few minutes, also do that. It's so important that you have those few minutes to yourself to do some pelvic floor exercises or do some Kegels, and definitely if you're able to have help and support around the house from your partner or your parents or family or friends, then ask for it. Ask for it Not everybody will suggest it, but if somebody is asked, they will gladly help. So definitely ask for it. And one more thing that is worth mentioning is you might be experiencing identity changes. So again, the first weeks were a lot of overwhelm, new things, a new baby, everything turned upside down. Now you might kind of start getting into this routine, but also therefore think, who am I? I am now a mother. What does that mean? So you might have an identity shift, an identity crisis. You might feel lost and don't know who you are and what is your next step and what you actually really want from life. And this is normal. So I would say, don't worry about it. Listen to yourself, listen to your heart. If you do want to change something in your life, there is time for that. Now is definitely the time to still take care of yourself, especially that we have those 6 weeks of healing. After that, there is hopefully you also have it, a gynecologist checkup to check that for sure the uterus is fine, there's no leftover placenta in the uterus, that your stitches have healed. They will check your breasts as well, so they will then tell you essentially that you have recovered, so to say, from birth, and you will be able to return to your normal daily activities. But that is not necessarily the case, because normal daily activities have changed. Nothing is really normal anymore, and rebuilding this normality takes weeks, if not months, and also finding what you want, who you are, takes a lot of time. So I wanted to tell you, Mama, that you're doing an incredible job, and definitely take the time to take care of yourself. Again, communication is key with whoever you can talk to, your partner or family. And well done for coming to the 5th week. Join me in some exercises for the pelvic floor and some simple recovery exercises of the core muscles. I will link that below. And good luck, all the best. I hope you're well. Take care. Bye.